Welcome learners, I am Dr. Gopal Dutt, working as an assistant professor in the School of Vocational Studies, Uttarakhand Open University, Haldwani. In this lecture, we will discuss about reading console input, writing console output, and reading and writing files. The learning objectives of this session are to explore the methods of reading console input, writing console input, understand the basics of writing and reading files over Java. So let us discuss about what we have discussed in the previous lecture. We were discussing about stream classes such as byte stream and character streams, predefined streams in Java, and overview of reading console input and writing console output, and some briefing about the file operations in Java. So let us discuss about file handling in Java. What do you mean by file handling in Java programming? Try to understand. The file class does not specify how information is retrieved from or stored in files. It describes the properties of a file itself. A file object is used to obtain or manipulate the information associated with the disk file, such as the permissions, time, date, and directory path, and to navigate subdirectory hierarchies. Why file handling is required? This is very important to know. What is the use of file handling in Java programming? This is very basic question. The file handling is an integral part of any programming language, as file handling enables us to store the output of any particular program in a file and allows us to perform certain operations on it. If we are not able to store the output in permanent storage, means in files, so such output we can't retrieve in next time or in future endeavors. In other words, a file handling means reading and writing data to a file. Here is an example to show how to import file class and create a new file. This is a typical example to introduce you that how to import file class and how to create new file using this line, using such line of codes. So in this example we are trying to introduce you the use of file class and the use of creating new files. First of all, we are trying to import Java IO package. Specifically, we are importing file class, and one user defined class is declared named GFG. You may change the name of that class because this is user defined class as per the naming rules of the identifiers. The main function starts here, public static void main. It takes one argument of type string, that is array type argument. Look at the next line. We are trying to represent file name specified, that comment is there, right? One object of type file class named obj, that object or that instance of the file of the class file is user defined. You can use any other valid identifier, and a new file is the instance is creating, and we have mentioned the name of our new file. Typically here we used myfile.txt, that name is enclosed inside double quotes, and without any other mechanism such as without the use of exception handling, in the next line we have displayed a message over the console, my new file created. So that was only the example to show how to use the instance of the class file. So look at the example. Its output is displayed over here, my new file created. So that was the model example to show how to use a file class instance to create new files. Let us discuss some basics related to file operations or file handling in Java. Files are the primary sources and destination for data within many programs. The following constructors can be used to create file objects. We have discussed earlier, the importance of file is too much for the purpose of storing the output data. Some of the constructors are described here. One is file, it takes string type input type argument, that is called directory path. Another file constructor is in the form of two arguments. The first argument of type string used for directory path, and the next argument is of type string used for getting file name. And one more file constructor is described. The first one is about the directory object of type file instance, and the next argument, it is of type string, defines file name. And another one is URI type object. So some of the typical file constructors are described here. Directory path is the path name of a file. File name, as you know, describes the name of a file or a subdirectory. dir obj we have used in the file constructor example, is a file object that specifies a directory, and URI object is a URI object that describes a file. File defines many methods that obtain the standard properties of a file object. For example, get name is one of the method. It returns the name of a file. Get parent, this is one of the key method. It returns the name of a parent directory. One more important method is here. This method again belongs to the class file named exists. It returns true if the file exists, false if it does not exist. So there were few of the commonly used methods which belongs to the file class we were discussing. With the help of file class, we can work with files. The file class is inside the java.io package. It means whenever we want to use file class or the methods those belongs to the file class, we must have to import java.io package. The file class can be used by creating an object of the class and then specifying the name of the file. Now let us understand what is stream. In brief, in our previous session we have discussed the use of stream classes. A sequence of data is known as a stream. This concept is used to perform input-output operations on a file. First of all, input stream. In Java, the input stream class is a superclass of all input streams. The input stream is used to read data from numerous input devices like the keyboard, network, etc. The input stream is an abstract class, and because of this it is not useful by itself. However, its subclasses are used to read data from various sources. There are several subclasses of the input stream class, such as audio input stream, byte array input stream, file input stream, filter input stream, string buffer input stream, object input stream, etc. So there are many classes those belongs to the input stream class, or in other words we can say the following listed classes comes under the category of subclasses of the class input stream, which is an abstract class in itself. For example, we are here to create an input stream. Look at that example. Input stream class, its instance is defined here using file input stream. Here an instance named obj you may change, you may define as per your own. You can change this obj because this obj is object and user defined name. Any valid user identifier you can use here at of the class input stream that is created using file input stream. We can create an input stream from other subclasses as well as input stream. So let us discuss about the popularly used methods of input stream. In various file operations, you will see such methods are commonly used. So I think we should have some basic knowledge about the given input methods, those belongs to the input stream class. The first one is read method. This method reads 1 byte of data from the input stream. The read method data in that case cannot accept any argument. In the next line, again we have used a read method with type arguments. Look at that. It reads byte from the stream and stores that byte into the specified array. The another commonly used method of input stream is mark. This mark method is used to position in the input stream until the data has been read. Another method which is commonly used method of input stream is called available. This method returns the number of bytes available in the input stream. One more commonly used method is mark supported. This method checks if the mark method and the reset method is supported in the stream or not. The next method is reset. This method is very commonly used. The reset method returns the control to the point where the mark was set inside the stream. As well, one is skips method is described. This method skips and removes a particular number of bytes from the input stream. And one more method that is very important named close. That method is used to close input stream. So we were discussing some of the popularly used methods of input stream. Those are used at the time of performing various file operations. Now discussing about output stream. The output stream is used to write data to numerous output devices like the monitor, file, etc. Output stream is an abstract superclass that represents an output stream. Output stream is an abstract class, and because of this it is not useful by itself. It means we cannot create the instance of output instance class directly. However, its subclasses are used to write data. There are several subclasses of output stream class such as byte array output stream, file output stream, string buffer output stream, object output stream, data output stream, print stream. There are some of the classes. We can say these are the classes belongs to the category of subclasses of the main class output stream, which is an abstract by itself. There is an example to create an output stream. Look at that example. We are trying to create an instance of output stream named obj new file output stream. Here an instance of the class output stream is created using file output stream. The file output stream is one of the subclass of the output stream class, which is an abstract class itself. We can create an output stream from other subclasses as well as output stream. There are some commonly used methods of the class output stream. Whenever we used to perform some file operations, at that time we must know how to use such methods. The first of all, write method is described here at. It writes the specified byte to the output stream. Again, the next method is write, but at that time the write method takes one argument. The earlier write method does not take any argument. That is the example of function overloading also. The write methods which takes an argument in the form of array writes the bytes which are inside a specific array to the output stream. One method is described in the earlier slides named close. This method is used to close output stream. One new method is described here belongs to the output stream named flush. Forces to write all the data present in an output stream to the destination. So let us discuss about some popular file operations in Java, such as creating a file, reading from a file, write over a file, and delete a file. The four common operations we will discuss in the next slides. The first of all, we are here to discuss about to creating a file using Java. In order to create a file in Java, you can use create new file method. Create new file method is a predefined method. We have to know how to use this method. If the file is successfully created, it will return a boolean value true and returns false if the file already exists. So let us see its example. Here we are trying to demonstrate how to create a file using the given line of code. So we are trying to demonstrate the use of exception handling also. So we have imported the java.io.file. This is the class. Again we have imported IO exception class. This is the part of java.io package, and we have defined an user defined class named create file. You can change whenever you want to change the name of that user defined class, but that should be an valid identifier name. And the method public static void main is described. Inside the main method, first of all we have started the try block, because this place may be probable for arising some exceptions. So we want to maintain the flow of that program, so that's why we have used try block. Inside this try block we have create an instance of a class named file. That new file is created here at with the directory path and name of the file. After that try block, we are trying to create new file. So we are trying to test that the new file whatever is created is successfully created or not. That's why if condition is tested here. If the if condition gets result in true, so it means file successfully created. Otherwise file already exists, new file doesn't create. So after completion of this if statement, we have closed try block, and just after followed by this try block we have mentioned the catch block with the exception handling mechanism. IO exception, its instance exception is maintained there at. If file doesn't create or some unexpected error comes, so with the help of this catch block we can catch it, and at the end the print stack trace can display the error message. So that was the demonstration of create file, a complete or we can say a professional demonstration. We have maintained the error handling mechanism using the exception handling mechanism try and catch. So let us see its output. If the file is created successfully, so you will get this output. My file operation example.txt is created successfully. So we were demonstrating the view how to create new file. Now another example we are discussing with you, read from a file. To read from a file we will use the scanner class. The following demonstration shows how to read contents from a file in Java. So that is the example. Again we have imported two files. Those are belongs to java.io package. One is file class, one is file not found exception. Now we are trying to read from a file, so it means we must have a file. If we are trying to open a file that doesn't exist, so there may be the possibility of occurring an error. So how we will handle such exception? That's why we have imported file not found exception, and one another class that is called scanner class. Those that scanner class belongs to the Java utility, we can say utility package. So let us see. User defined class is described here. Read from file. Again same mechanism in as we were discussing earlier. We have started try block inside the main. As we know, the try block is a mechanism to maintain to handle the exception. The line of code, those may occur some exception, we have placed such code inside the try block. We are trying to open a file using the file class, and a new file, that is my file, and scanner class is used there at. So its instance is described declared there at, and trying to read using the next line with the help of reader instance, and whatever we have taken the input from that file, that is stored over a string type object named data, and that data is displayed using the println function. So at that time, if the operation of file reading is successful, then at the end reader dot close, with the help of that close method we have closed the file. If something goes wrong, that catch method, that catch block can handle the file not found exception, and the error will be displayed over the screen. So that is the output. Whatever text we will have in my file.txt, that will be displayed. So the output will be as differ as per the text that was available in the my file.txt. So whatever text that my file will contain, that will be displayed. So next is the next demonstration about write to a file. To write over a file, we use the file writer class along with its write method. The following demonstration shows how to write text to a file in Java. So that is the example that explains how to write over a file. Again, some necessary classes we have imported here, such as file writer class and IO exception class, and one new class that is defined by user called write to file we have declared. And inside the main function, as always, we are here with try block, and instance of file writer is declared, and my file.txt is here, in which we will try to write. So we are trying to write over that file writer.write. Write is a method. What we want to write here over the user created file in Java, that is the user defined text. You may change that text, and just after using this method, write method, we have closed the file, that is my file.txt, using writer.close statement. So after that completion of try block followed by this catch block, if some unexpected error comes, that will be displayed. So look at that output. So whatever you will write, that will be displayed over here. So right now I have written right here over the user created file in Java. I think if you will try to read this file, that will be displayed. Right now in this example, we didn't try to read, only we are demonstrating how to write over the file. How to read, in the previous slide we have discussed with you, and at the end one more demonstration we are sharing with you, that is about deleting a file. To delete a file in Java, we use the delete method. The following demonstration shows to delete a file in Java. So what I have to do to delete a file? Some necessary files, some necessary classes you have to import. In that case, we have imported file class only, and one user defined class is declared delete file. As in earlier fashion, main function is described there, and the object of that file class is declared, and new file myfile.txt is created. And trying to delete a file, obj.delete, it returns true, it means file is deleted, else it means file is failed to delete. So if that file doesn't exist, I think so failed in deleting a file, that message will be displayed as per this demonstration. So there were some basic operations, those can performed over the file we were discussing. So about the learning outcomes of this session, the learning outcomes of this lecture is to gain the knowledge and understanding about the input streams, output streams, and various file operations, commonly used methods of input stream and commonly used methods of output streams. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the introduction to applets and World Wide Web, and the applet class and HTML. So thank you.